Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to set up Jenkins server in a Ubuntu machine. So I will be doing a series of Jenkins tutorial and this is my first tutorial. So I'm just going to show you how to do some basic configuration, setting up Jenkins up and running. Alright, so the first thing to do is to install Jenkins. So I will be using Jenkins Docker image to run a Jenkins server instead of downloading the Jenkins WAR file and do the installation. So if you go to the Docker Hub, okay, so this is the command to use in order to download a Jenkins Docker image, okay. So if I do a Docker images, so I already have the Jenkins Docker image in my local, so you can just type this command in order to pull the image to your local, okay, something like that. Alright, after you have pulled the Docker image to your local, the next thing you are going to do is that you can inspect the Docker image to see the configuration if you run the Docker Jenkins image as a container. So if I can do a Docker inspect the image ID of the image that I have just pulled. So over here, if you go to the top, you see that these are the ports that will be exposed when you run the Jenkins server in the Docker container. So it will be port 50,000 and port 8080. So these are the two ports that you are going to use your Ubuntu machine to communicate with the Jenkins server which is running inside the Docker container. So port 8080 is a port that allows our Ubuntu machine to communicate with the Jenkins server via the web browser. We can get the web page of the Jenkins server in our Ubuntu web browser, alright, through the port 8080. So the next one is the port 50,000. So port 50,000, just another port to communicate between our Ubuntu machine and the Jenkins server, alright. And the next command I'm going to run is this one, docker run, and I'm going to run it in a detached mode. So detached mode means that I'm going to run the container in the background. So if you don't put a detached mode, when you run the docker run command, the output of the container will be displayed in the terminal of your Ubuntu. Okay, and you are not going to be able to type anything on the terminal itself. So better to run it in a detached mode so that it will be running in the background and you still can type something in the terminal. Okay, so I'm going to run this one and I'm going to give the name of our container to be Jenkins server, and I'm going to expose our port of our Ubuntu machine 8080, this one, to the port 8080 of the Jenkins server, and also port 50,000 of our Ubuntu machine to the port 50,000 of the Jenkins server. So I'm going to create a volume. So it means that I'm going to map our local Ubuntu directory, which is the name is Jenkins, to the directory which is running inside the Docker container, this one, the var Jenkins home. So this var Jenkins home is a directory inside the Docker container, and this Jenkins directory is the directory of our local Ubuntu machine. Okay, so what it does is that the data that is inside this var Jenkins home, which is inside Docker, will be stored in our local machine as well. Okay, so this is important because after you run the Docker container and you have done some configuration, there will be some data, right? So you don't want those data to be lost whenever you shut down the Docker container. You want those data to be persist. So you want it to be stored somewhere. You can store it in our local directory by using a volume mapping function provided by Docker. Okay, and the last argument that you're going to provide is the Jenkins image ID. It's the image of the Docker that you want to run it as a container. So I'm going to run this one. Let's do Docker images, and I'm going to put this image ID. Alright, so let us run it. So if you do a Docker PS, you will see this Docker is up and running 2 seconds ago. Alright, and also if you go to the, let's say in our var lead Docker and also the volume, you see that there will be a folder Jenkins created. So this is a folder that we use for volume mapping. Okay, so the data under this path in the Docker is storing inside our Jenkins folder, and this Jenkins folder is located in the valid Docker volume. Okay, so this is where the information of the volume is being stored. So right now let us go to the browser, and I'm going to do a localhost 8080. So we will see the Jenkins server is actually returning the web page, this web page, to our browser. So this is actually how it works. So let's imagine this is our Ubuntu machine. Okay, and we have run the image, the Docker image as a container. So you will see this is the Docker container which is being up and running, and there's a port 8080, okay, inside the Docker container, and also in our Ubuntu machine we have also a port 8080. All right, so which is we type in our browser. When we run this container, right, we actually map our port 8080 of our Ubuntu machine to the port 8080 of the Docker container. So when we do this, it's actually sending information to the port 8080 of the Docker, all right, of the Jenkins server. So what it does is that when the Jenkins server knows that someone from the browser port 8080 is actually sending the information, is trying to communicate with us. Okay, so what it does is that it's going to return the web page to someone who is requesting the information. Okay, so it's going to send back the information back to the web browser. All right, so this is actually how they communicate with each other. So right now, let's type the password over here. So we need to get the password from the var Jenkins home secret initial admin password. So this path. So this path is actually inside the Docker container. Okay, so in order to get the password inside a Docker container, you need to run a command inside the Docker container. So if you want to run a command inside the Docker container, you got to use this docker exec command. Okay, so if you search this docker exec command, right, it's actually saying that you can run a command in a running container. All right, so I'm going to do docker exec and then the name of the container, and then followed by the command that I want to run inside the container, which is this one. So let's run it right now. So it provides us the password in order to log in the web page. So let us go back and start it over here, continue. And thing that the Jenkins server return is that they ask us to whether want to install anything. So I'm going to go with the install suggested plugin. This is the default one. Okay, so let's click it. So this is it. So this is how you actually install the Jenkins server and how you configure the Jenkins server. So it's actually very easy, right? Because everything is already provided by Docker. You just need to run the Docker command to get the container up and running, the server up and running. Okay, so after everything is being downloaded, you will be able to log in the Jenkins web page. Okay, so thank you so much for watching.